Hey everybody, Teresa here from Inspiration Cards, and I'm back with card number 2 for this month's Stamp Jammies online card class featuring the Sweet Conversations stamp set. I've been having so much fun crafting with this and getting ready for Valentine's Day, but I'm also happy to be able to use this stamp set for other projects as well. Now, if you missed out on signing up for the full class kit for $75, that includes the stamp set, an ink pad, some coordinating designer series paper, and all the class supplies, of course. Don't worry, you can still sign up and get just the class supplies for $25, and that includes shipping to anywhere in Canada. And if you're outside of Canada, we'll just add a little more for that extra postage, and I'm happy to mail it outside of Canada as well. But if you want to actually get in on the full class kit for next month's Stamp Jammies online card class, you can do that. And I'm going to be featuring the Quiet Meadow stamp set. This is one from the annual catalog, and I've been loving crafting with this one. This one's so fun and so versatile. And so for the month of March, I'm going to be using this one. And so for the full class kit, like I said, it's $75, and that includes the stamp set, an ink pad, coordinating designer series paper, plus all the class supplies and shipping. So that's all the details on how to join in on all the fun. Let's flip this around and get to some crafting. So here we go. Here's this week's card. So again, I'm using another design from the Sweet Talk Designer Series paper pack that coordinates with the Sweet Conversations stamp set. It's such a cute pack of paper. I've been having so much fun crafting with it. So what you're going to need for this week's card in your stash of class supplies, you're going to need a piece of petal pink cardstock. So I've just cut an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock in half strip. So this is 4.25 by 11 inches. And then of course we've got our piece of Sweet Talk Designer Series paper. And we've got a piece of basic white. This is for the inside. And then of course we're gonna have some scraps of basic white and some real red. And then you should also have a strip of the frayed ribbon from the catalog. I don't know if you can pick up the shimmer that's part of this ribbon. Just love it, so pretty. All right, so let's get started. I always like to kick things off by folding my card base in half. Even when I have my score line there, I still like to use my bone folder and get that nice, crisp, clean fold. So there we go. And let's set that off to the side along with our designer series paper. So not a ton of stamping on this card. I like to have the designer series paper really be the feature. So on your large piece of basic white, you're just going to stamp whatever you want on the inside of your card. So you can add a happy Valentine's Day if you need a Valentine's Day card for Monday, or you can add in whatever else you'd like to have. I'm going to add in, oops, got my little extra die cut pieces. I'm going to add in a love you on the inside. I love the little hearts. They're so cute. They totally remind me of the little heart candies with the phrases, which is, I'm sure, the intention behind them. Love those growing up. My kids like them a little bit too. Not quite the same. All right, so I'm just going to ink that up with my petal pink ink, and that's going to go down in my bottom right hand corner. You can add as much or as little as you like. I always like to leave lots of room for to stamp another sentiment or to add a note or anything like that on the inside. All right, so there we go. We've got that all stamped and good to go. And so we're going to use the heartfelt punch pack again. So last week I did use them as well. You know, for Valentine's Day and, you know, a stamp set like this, you kind of have to use the heart punch pack. They just go so well together. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stamp the phrase first. So I'm going to stick with the happy to have you in my life like I have on the original here. So whether you stamp first and then punch or punch and then stamp, it's completely up to you. Last week I had it stamped first, punched first, and then I stamped. So this week I'm going to do it the other way around. And so I'm just going to put that right in the middle
Oops, actually, let me make sure I've got that the right way up so I can line up my punch properly. There we go. All right, I'm going to close up my ink pad. That's it for the stamping. I'm going to give that just a little wave. Just want that to dry a little bit more before I get to punching it. All right. So to punch, all you got to do is slide the button and open that puppy up. And then you can slide your cardstock right in between there. And that pops right out. And I want to pull in a little bit of the real red from the designer series paper, hence the scrap of real red. So let's grab the scalloped punch. And here we go. So I'm just going to line that up. And I'm going to try and get this one as close to the edge as possible. I like to try and maximize my cardstock as much as possible. So I'll kind of alternate how I position the images and all of that kind of stuff. So that way I can get more die cuts and punches and things like that from my cardstock. All right, so there we go. So there are all our pieces. So let's get to some sticking. Got my Stamp and Seal set and ready to go. So of course our big piece of basic white is going to go on the inside here. Here we go. You want to center that as best you can. Get that nice little cardstock border. And of course we need our Lollipop DSP on here. Now the nice thing with the designer series paper is, right, each sheet has 2 designs, right? So depending on how you're feeling, you can flip your designer series paper over and go with whatever design you feel like. There we go. And of course we need our strip of frayed ribbon. So I'm just gonna do a quick little measure here. And these are my ribbon scissors. Back in the day when Stampin' Up! Had their own craft scissors. So that's what I use. I only use those for cutting my ribbons and things like that. All right, so I'm gonna do a nice little strip of my Stamp and Seal right across my designer series paper. And then my ribbon's gonna go right on top. There we go. And of course we've got to layer up our hearts. There we go. And to add a little extra dimension to the card, you can use some dimensionals. Pop this guy up. There we go. So whether you've got the original Stampin' Dimensionals or whether you got minis, it all works out in the end. Add one more. 2 more. Here we go. You can never have enough dimensionals, especially the minis. Go. So just peel the papers off the back. Go. And that's going to go right on top here. So we've got our pink, we've got our red, and then to pull in a little more of the shimmer from the ribbon, I'm going to add just a few of the rhinestone basic jewels. This is probably my top go-to when I want to add a little bit of bling, a little something extra to my cards. So I'm going to add one of the medium-sized ones here with my phrase, and then I'm just going to add a few smaller ones. It's kind of wherever I feel like. Just kind of try and switch it up a little bit. So I'm just using the spatula end of my Take Your Pick tool to scoop them up. And we'll do one more. I like to keep them in odd numbers, 3s, 5s, a little more eye-catching that way. All right, and that one's going to go right up there. And voila! there you have it. All right, and as always, I always like to show another card using the same stamp set. So this card here is, again, using the Sweet Conversation stamp set. I'm using, I do have the hearts going here, but I'm using a lot of the other images from the stamp set. So this really could be, it could be for Valentine's Day, you know, a little more masculine theme with the misty moonlight and pool party. Or it could even be for, you know, an anniversary or anything like that. And I love the misty moonlight cotton ribbon. So this comes in a 2-pack, so with the misty moonlight and with the petal pink. And then I've used the Stitched So Sweetly's dies to cut that out. And of course, again, gotta have my bling. Now this was one that I actually featured in my weekly newsletter as a project sheet. So in my weekly newsletter, I always have a project sheet. You won't find these anywhere else. So it comes complete with pictures, a list of supplies, and step-by-step instructions. So if you want to check out on how to get your hands on those, then you'll definitely want to either send me an email or check out my blog, inspirationcards.com, to get signed up for my weekly newsletter. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this week's cards, and I'll be back with another card next week using the Sweet Conversations stamp set for this month's Stamp Jammies online card class. And if you want to check out some of my other projects and things that I've got going on, you'll definitely want to check out my social pages. I'm at Inspiration Cards on both Facebook and Instagram. You can also check out my blog. I post a couple of times a week with different projects and different things like that, all about paper crafting, scrapbooking, and Stampin' Up. So you can check that out at inspirationcards.com. And of course, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. So you can drop one in the comments below, or you can email me at inspirationwiththeresa@gmail.com. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon.